Hey there, Leo. How's it going? Hope everything's going good with you and yours. Welcome to your week of April 25th, 2022 general horoscope reading. We're going to be looking at your past, your present, your future, clarifying those cards, and then tying everything off with an oracle card at the end of the reading. Well, actually, two oracle cards. I keep mixing that up every time. But we're going to be tying everything off with a couple of oracle cards, some a little bit of advice here for you at the end of the reading. So you're going to want to stick around for all that because something may resonate with you throughout the reading. Just because it doesn't click with you initially doesn't mean there isn't something that may click with you later on. So, but with the nature of general readings, so these are not going to resonate with everybody, or parts of it aren't going to resonate with everybody. So don't worry if that's the case, if you don't get anything from this reading, or you just don't get the complete package of this reading. Don't worry about it. It's just is what it is. It's the nature of the beast, much like the nature of that beast here at the front of the table here. But we're looking at your Eight of Cups as your card to keep an eye on. Eight of Cups is a card walking away from something, moving on here. And we also have the Knight and the King of Cups here underneath. Interesting there. It's almost as if you're walking away from someone. There's a general sense of like either walking away from a relationship here, I feel, with that Eight of Cups, because it's kind of like moving on from anything, and just any sort of thing where you're like, well, this is good but not good enough, right? I want better. There's a 9 and a 10 of Cups out there, so there is that. Maybe for somebody, maybe you're moving on from a relationship that just wasn't doing it for you, because the the Knight of Cups represents Prince or Princess Charming, and it could have been someone who maybe was a little older than you with that King of Cups there. Maybe someone who was maybe a little closed off emotionally as well, or at least they projected that here. But we'll keep that in mind here as we move forward. We got the Seven of Cups, the Page of Cups, and the Empress here in your past. So definitely feels like maybe some sort of young love here with the Page of Cups. Maybe that's what that relationship was. It was just kind of like you two, maybe it was just starting out here or something like that. With the Seven of Cups, I mean, it initially seemed very dreamy. Seemed like, oh, this is the stuff that I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted in this relationship. And with the Empress, there's just a ton of like abundance and love here to start things off. But with that Eight of Cups, maybe you're thinking this isn't enough because this person's just a page, right? They're not a knight, they're not a king, they're not a queen, right? They're not the person who's matured. They're kind of emotionally very naive, emotionally young here as well. So maybe dealing with someone like that, maybe that's what's going on here, and it's giving you some pause. Maybe I should be moving on. Maybe I should be finding my Prince or Princess Charming, or my king or my queen, right? And don't worry, it's just energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be a man or a woman. It's just whatever you're attracted to. Just trying to find someone who projects maturity when it comes to emotion here. So that's interesting. It almost feels like there was a promise here, or like a promise, or it felt like there was an opportunity for everything that you wanted, but it's just not working out that way. So let's clarify this. Let's see what we got going on. Let's clarify that Seven of Cups first. You got the Page of Cups again. Yeah, it just seems like a dreamlike person. It just seems like this. Maybe the two of you were both kind of immature when it came to your emotions as well. Or maybe this person felt like they came right out of your dreams, like this kind of young, charming person who seemed like they were offering you a real opportunity at something here. Let's clarify our first Page of Cups. Let's see what we got. We got the Nine of Cups. Yeah, that's definitely promising. A promising start here, because that Nine of Cups is really good. It represents two people who are both emotionally fulfilled and satisfied with themselves, right? And when you get two people to come together with Nine of Cups energy, you get the 10 of Cups. So it almost feels like one of you was ready, but the other one wasn't, right? And it could have been you, could have been them. Maybe, maybe you thought they were that, right? But they maybe weren't. Maybe you thought, oh, this person is emotionally mature, or they're heading towards emotional maturity, but they just something there wasn't quite what it seemed, right? All right, who's driving by my house at 6 in the morning? And you're gonna be like, Charles, you're doing tarot readings at 6 in the morning. Jeez, who are you to talk? Clarifying the Empress, we got the Queen of Wands here. Oh no. Speaking of emotional immaturity, here we go. Mr. I gotta be the center of attention at all times. Oh my lord, look at this. Look at this lug. Anyway, we got the Queen of Wands. It's interesting. Journey is now covering up our other Queen of Wands in the reading. So they're kind of on a diagonal with each other here, which is really interesting. But with the Queen of Wands, it feels like that maybe they were presenting like they had emotional maturity, or you thought that they had the emotional maturity or the potential to be there, but they're really kind of turning into someone who's more of a, someone who's a little more of a Queen of Wands, who's a little more sexual and sensual, right? Maybe that's more their thing. It's like they're more about the physical, even though initially they present as being emotional, right? So it might have been sort of a situation where this person isn't everything that they seem to be. Or at least it feels like maybe when it came to the physical, they were a little more kind of standoffish, or at least that's what they wanted. Like, it's clarifying the Empress, so it's maybe saying there's just too much of this, right? Too much of the physical, too much of the sensual, right? It's almost like they baited you in with the emotional stuff and then turn it around and they're like, no, actually, this is what I really wanted all along here. Which is interesting because as we move into your present row here, we got the Devil, the Page of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles. And it's almost as if they're sort of in a state of like that manipulation, right? And maybe they didn't necessarily do that on purpose. Maybe it's just a communication error, or maybe you two just didn't quite see eye to eye. Like, you know, some people, you talk to them, even if they live like, you know, an hour away from you or something, or grew up an hour away from you, sometimes they have different meanings for things, right? So maybe this person was presenting very emotional and saying things like that, and they thought you were on the same page with them, but really they were actually kind of talking more about the physical aspect, right? They weren't actually talking about the mature emotional side, right? So could be some of that there. Some of that manipulation, whether intentional or otherwise. It almost feels like with the Six of Pentacles, you've been given too much to that, right? Too much to this situation, because we also have the Page of Pentacles in between here, and really talks about, with the Page of Pentacles, all about planning, thinking toward the future, right? And it feels like you're really putting that energy in, but they're not, because it's almost like they're the devil and they're on the pedestal. They're like, I'm here to be worshipped. Or maybe you're putting them up on a pedestal. Maybe you accidentally put them up on a pedestal, and we're saying like, oh, I'm worshiping them because I feel like this is my person, this is my significant other. And so you're trying to plan out the future for them. And they, in the meantime, they just want the physical. They just want the right now. They don't care about the future. That's not really what they're planning. So, and again, it might not, like, I feel like it might not be intentional, but it could be too. Like, so don't, like, you'll know probably if you're dealing with that situation, what that case is. If you are in that kind of a situation where you feel like you've been bamboozled. Clarifying the Devil, we got the Three of Wands here, and the Three of Wands really tells us about kind of like you're sitting here like a missed opportunity almost. Like, it feels like maybe here there was a bit of a real chance, like you thought it might have been a real chance for love, a real chance for emotional connection here, but it feels like there's just a misconnection, you know? Like, they told you the starting time was, you know, this time, and then you get there and it's like, oh, sorry, I meant PM, you know, not AM. Clarifying the Page of Pentacles, we got the Three of Swords here. Hello, Journey. The Three of Swords talks about removing things that no longer serve you here. And it feels like maybe that's what you need to be thinking about here in the future. Like Eight of Cups, walking away, Three of Swords, cutting out this situation and finding something you want. Because I don't feel like any time is ever wasted, right? Like, you might feel that way right now. I'm getting kind of a sense of it where you might feel like, oh, well, this was just a giant waste of time because this person wasn't real, right? This person wasn't the true connection that I wanted here. And so you might feel that way, but I don't think that is. I think that's just because it's kind of like a lesson you need to learn, or a lesson that needs to be taught to you here, is that, well, not everything is as it seems, and maybe before we, you know, make assumptions and make, you know, judgments, and before we decide to like start committing for the future, make sure that the present is a solid foundation, right? So let's clarify this Six of Pentacles here. See what we got for you. You got the Ace of Wands. Yeah, I feel like you need to be giving to something new. You need to be giving to someone new rather than working on this, right? It seems like things here have kind of gone awry, and it's time to maybe move on, you know? And I feel like it's no fault of anyone's here. I feel like for a lot of you, it's probably just a big miscommunication. But for some of you, it may be sort of like you may have been a little too trusting of the wrong person and they kind of took advantage of you, which is a shame, but you know, there are lessons to be learned from that. We got in your future, though, we got the Queen of Wands, the Hermit, and the Seven of Pentacles. So again, there's kind of that energy. I feel like you might be getting some clarity here with the Hermit. It's almost as if you're seeing clearly now. With the Queen of Wands repeating here, especially where it's like Queen of Wands, Three of Swords, Queen of Wands now, it feels like you need to cut this Queen of Wands out. And you see clearly now that you should be doing that with the Hermit. And it feels like with this Seven of Pentacles, you've been putting in too much work. You've been putting in too much time, committing too much. This is juice isn't worth the squeeze. Or maybe you're considering moving on here. Again, we got the Eight of Cups, Knight of Cups down here, the King of Cups as well. It just kind of feels like there's this definite need to kind of move forward here at this time from this Queen of Wands. It's almost like they're still kind of, especially where they're at the top here of your future, it's like they're kind of the reason for moving on, or they're kind of the reason for going forward here. Interesting here. I feel like you need to really focus down. Maybe this person deep down is what you want with the Hermit, because it might be just a simple misunderstanding, and like if you actually communicate with them, that you might actually figure out like, okay, like deep down they are that kind of person. It's just we got to kind of work through this. But for some of you, it might be just moving on. It might just be that simple. It's just like, let's just move on. Because the Hermit can talk about that, where he's like, might have his feet frozen to the mountaintop, and it's like if he just brings his lantern down and thaws out his snow around his feet, he'd be able to move on easily, right? It's like you're not stuck here. Like you don't have to be in this relationship if you don't want to, if they're not committing to you, if they're not on the same page as you, right? Maybe you just move on, find someone else, right? But again, don't have to do that if you don't want to. Like, I'm not your boss. This is a pre-recorded message. I can't make you do anything you don't want to do, right? All right, let's clarify this Queen of Wands. See what's going on here. Oh man, that's a pretty sight. Spike over there cleaning himself. We got the Five of Wands here. A lot of chaos, maybe some confusion. Again, revolving around this Queen of Wands. Maybe just, again, with communication potentially. It's also saying maybe there's some room for growth here too as well. So again, you can do whatever you want. You can try to grow this relationship, try to work on it. I feel like for a lot of you, it's not worth it, but maybe for some of you it is. Let's clarify the Hermit. What do we got? I'll laugh if this just did Aries reading. They had the Hermit, and then the Hermit got clarified by the Hermit. We got the Nine of Wands here. Yeah, this definitely hurt, realizing that this person isn't what you thought they were, or weren't who they said they were, or whatever the situation may be. And so maybe putting up a wall because of this. I just feel like, it is what it is. If that is the case and you want to move on, take some time to recover first, so that way the next person you're going to be interacting with, like in a romantic sense, is like not going to be someone you're going to take that out on, right? You're not going to be like comparing the two. It's like, make sure you're cool with everything before you move on, right? So you don't have the walls up and you don't have the defenses up, trying to ruin some time you might be spending with someone else, right? Where there might be a real opportunity there. So let's clarify this Seven of Pentacles. What do we have for you? You got the Ace of Cups. So yeah, there is a new beginning here if you're willing to put in the work. I feel like this is kind of a situation for some of you, again, where it's going to be like a, maybe quit while you're ahead sort of situation. Like, this isn't worth it. I'm going to go find something new, something that is emotionally worth it for me. Or for others, it might be maybe there's more work to be done with this person, and I will get to that point with them where it is worth the time. But again, for those of you out there, it's up to you how you want to do that, how you interpret that. For myself, I'm definitely on the camp walk away, but for you, you may not feel that way, right? You might be feeling like, no, actually there's something here. Maybe you do feel something there. Maybe you have an intuition about it or something. And if that is the case, then, the reading is certainly pointing that way as well, if you want to look at it that way too. So let's take a look. What do we got for your first oracle message? You've got the Otter Spirit. You're never alone. You've always got Spirit with you. If you do decide to move on, it's not as though it's like, oh, this is the end. It's like there's always someone coming, right? There's always more fish in the sea. We got the Empress back here in your past energy. It's kind of reminding you, like, there's other people out there, right? This isn't the only person to date ever. It may feel that way, You know, you may think that this is the case, but you know what? Doesn't have to be. And again, if you want to stick with this person, you're never alone. Maybe they're your soulmate. Maybe they're proper connection with you. And your last oracle card message. What do we got for you? We got the Rabbit Spirit. Now's the lucky time. So, you know, moving on, sticking around, whatever you decide to do. I feel like you're going to be quite fortunate by this. So I hope that helped you out. Hope that resonated with you here. Leo, just lost who you were there for a second. But hopefully this has helped you out. If you want to help out the channel, leaving a like down below, commenting on the video, subscribing to the channel if you're new to the channel, and of course checking out your Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign videos all help me. And those, oh, excuse me, last ones help you see what might all be coming for you in the week ahead. And I hope to see you here, Leo, next time.